It's one of the most iconic circuits on the Formula One calendar. It takes 6 weeks to build and 3 weeks to pull apart. But here in the Aussie Racing League, we're going to try and do it in one race session. Hello and welcome to round 4 of the championship of season 6. The inaugural race was run in 1929 and taken out by a Bugatti. Which manufacturer will do it here today? Let's take a look at the circuit layout. 3.3 kilometres in length, 19 turns, no straights to speak of, really. One DRS zone and plenty of concrete walls to hit. Let's head to our commentary team.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, it is Thursday night, and you know what that means? It is the Aussie Racing League Elite Edition. I'm your host, Mana Tin, and in the box with me tonight, same as usual, Snooper Loop. Welcome along, mate.
Hey, team, thanks for bringing us in. The last race of the week, we love getting around this one, and it's been the hardest one of the week, hardest one of the season so far, as it's proven. The Principality is causing a lot of ruckus in the ARL, Tins.
Yeah, there's a fair bit of controversy going on, a few crashes, a few things here and there, but I have to say, I quite like Monaco. I changed my view up a week ago to directly more behind the car, and now I can kind of put my car in, and I know where the car's going to sit. I'm not so far back that I'm missing my lines all the time. I feel like I'm hitting it all the time now, and it's made racing so much more enjoyable. So I actually really liked it. I know I was one of the lucky ones that wasn't involved in the incident in my in the novice division with yourself, but I quite liked it, and I am so excited for tonight because we're going to see a show of racecraft from the elite guys. These guys know how to race. They know how to look after each other. I'm expecting some hard, clean racing. There's going to be some questionable moves, but it's going to be done the right way, and that's what I'm really keen to see.
Well, as the elite division has proven, Tins, smart racing is good racing, and a lot of these guys are seriously clean, and that's what we love about this division. We've had some moments but it's caused from hard racing, and hard racing is good racing. These guys are super respectful to each other, and like you touched on as well, this track. A lot of people hate it, but I'm with you, Tins. This is really great track. I reckon it's one where the drivers get a true testament if they can be one with the car. You need to shave the walls. You need to shave the chicanes. You need to make sure you're not hopping over those sausage curbs. So I really think it is a great track to test out the drivers, and I'm sure that's what we're going to see tonight, especially in the qualifying session. A lot to play for. Pole position, track position on Monaco is key here. So these guys really want to be fighting for that number one spot on the grid, or even in the top 3, top 4 sort of area. But pole position, it's not only the track position that you want. As we see, we've got a bit of rain. So pole position here is going to be crucial.
It is going to be crucial, and this throws a spanner in the works. My God, this makes it even more exciting. If you don't like, if you don't like racing, or you feel like this is going to be a boring race, put that out there, but put it in the back of your mind, because this is going to be bloody fun. I don't mean to bring some little bit of profanity in it, but this is going to be amazing. You've got the best drivers in the league racing around one of the tightest circuits in the league, and it's wet qualifying to set up a race. Some of these people are going to they're going to struggle to go in that in the wet, and might qualify a little bit lower. And might find they're pushing up a bit harder. This is what racing and ARL is all about, and I am all for it.
Yeah, now, just as I touched on before, we said this track is one where you need to be a driver at one with his car, and in the dry, it's hard enough as it is. But in the wet, you seriously need to, pretty much your eyes need to be a side pod on this car in the wet if you want to set a time. And a lap can be won or lost. Pole position can be won or lost here of getting sideways somewhere. And it's hard enough, easy enough to put it in the wall in the dry. keeping these cars off the walls, off the Armcos with these intermediate tyres on is going to be a challenge. But I'm seriously looking forward to seeing as well the drivers that maybe aren't necessarily the quickest in the dry that get to show their talent in the wet. So there's a lot to play for here, a lot of variables that we have on the track tonight. A wet race here in Monaco. We're not sure what the predictions are for the race with the weather, but it looks pretty heavy. They are only on the inters, but as you can see from Dutchy's spray that the car is putting up here and the sort of the way the track is looking a bit glary, I dare say it might be a little bit wet in the race.
Yeah, well, he's a little bit screwy here. We're going to jump on board with Dutchy for this first lap. He's going to come across a little bit of traffic, but he should be okay for the most part. But this is going to be awesome. Like, again, we're going to see a lot of stuff that's going to go right, it's going to go wrong. I don't know about you. I did a little bit of wet practice, and the track isn't actually that bad wet, because if you are not trying to just force the hell out of the car, it's actually quite nice. But if you're trying to push like these guys are in a qualifying session, then that brings a whole different light.
Yeah, it brings so many more things into play as well, Tins. We know that throttle control, we know that braking here is... Well, this whole track is really an aggravated assault at an F1 circuit. We know these modern day cars aren't really suited to this tight circuit, so it brings everything into play. Now these guys are going to have to be really, really cautious on the accelerator. You get the rear end out, you may put it in the wall, you may spin, and you're going to lose a lot of lap time. If you brake too late, you're going to put it into a wall somewhere. So it really does bring everything in as Dutchy sets a 120. So this is our benchmark to start off with here. I have no clue what we should expect in the wet in terms of lap times, Tim. So I'm not sure if you do as well, but a 120 is nearly 9 seconds off the pace. Well, over 9 seconds off the pace, nearly 10 seconds which is Zakov sets a 119.455. So he's come in and set his lap time that's a second quicker than Dutchy as a banker. As we see Zay, he's going to come around and set a lap here, and he's going to do a 122.326. So there's a varying times here across the board with the bankers.
Yeah, I think about where they're setting it now, I think 120 is probably the quicker of the lot. I think Dutchy's lap was actually quite a good lap. These guys, they're going to run and they're going to get their tyres warm and they're going to continue to go and go and go. But a 120 is about where they're going to, as we see Apex do a 119.9. So that's about where it is. I know I was doing about 122s in the wet, and I'm a novice driver, so look for these guys to be pushing and pushing, but it should be quite good.
Yeah. This qualifying session now, I'm not sure. We haven't seen too many wet races as of late in the elite division. They've all been quite good by getting some good weather. So I'm not too sure who our really good wet drivers are. Obviously, we can see Zakov, Apex, and Dutchy are top three, whereas Zakov again goes quicker with a 118.79. So he's smashing his time every time he goes out. But there's a couple of drivers I'm interested to see if they can push their way up the order from where they normally be in the wet weather.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, and that's where it's going to come into the race. Obviously, if the race is wet, then that's going to be even greater. But if the race is dry, then you're going to see some guys that may not perform as well as they would like to in the wet. As we see Crush doing a 119.7. So these guys are only going to get quicker and quicker as they go. They'll get a bit more comfortable in the wet as they adjust to the conditions. And they're going to take a lap or two once the ERS fluctuates up and down. But once they get comfortable, these times will come down a little bit, but it really depends. Some people are more comfortable in the wet. We know how good Zakov is, so whatnot. We do have Tazza. I haven't actually seen as of yet. I think he
hasn't done a lap yet.
No, so again, they're our main guys. We got Gares here, who will be up there as a 119.5, so it's a great lap from Gares, our championship leader at the moment. So Aussie squeezes through that one. But yeah, it's gonna be good. I'm really looking forward to it.
So Zakov is seriously setting the tone here. He's gone quicker again, a 118.4. So he's still currently over a second quicker than our second place time here. So he really is showcasing his dominance so far in the wet and how skilled of a driver he is. This track is so tough. I mean, like we mentioned earlier, Tins, driving on this track is quite hard. So to see him do those sort of times in the wet is quite impressive. And as we've spoken about throughout the season, we know Zakov is a top tier. He's one of the best in Australia. So look to see him probably improve again. I wouldn't even put it past him to go in the 117s in this sort of weather, the way he's improving. But a lot about last week as well. We had those incidents up the front. Zakov will be looking to get some points here. He did have a disconnected steering wheel last week, which ultimately took him out of a P1 position to win the race. So he's going to be looking to score some big points here. And by these laps he's setting now, it looks like he's on the pace to do so. Gares, he's our championship leader. He's going to want to have a clean race and get through this and extend that championship lead amongst his rivals a little bit further. Dutchy, who we don't see up this far of the order very often, he's looking like he can steal some points from his rivals. Tazza, he's not having the season he wanted to start off having, but again, these wet races bring a lot of opportunities, so he as well will be wanting to take advantage of this. And Apex as well, and Ekem, who were also involved in that lap 25 incident at Abu Dhabi last week, will also be looking to try and do a little bit of damage limitation from last week and get themselves back in the points.
As you say that, Crush does a 1:19.3, so he's gone second fastest overall. It's shaping up to be a good season. We've seen the guys that dominated all last season just not quite getting the way that they want, but that's just how racing works, unfortunately. And they've had a few guys up and down. We know Apex missed the first race, so that cost him a fair amount of points. But Gares has been Mr. Consistency. He is the guy that is there all the time, whether it's wet, whether it's dry, it doesn't matter what track it is. He's second, third every single week. So he is been absolutely phenomenal this season, and he said he doesn't care if he doesn't win a race all year. If he's finishing second and third all year, he knows he's going to be tough to beat, and he's going to be quite content with that. So you can see the mindset that Gares has got. He's just put it down, race hard, get the job done, go to the best of your ability, and whatever happens, happens.
Yeah. Is Ryan Bell here? Is he a substitute for Vlad, or has Vlad not got his name right in his Discord?
Honestly, I couldn't tell you. You might have to check the race log in Discord just to double check. But Vlad, he is second in the championship at the moment, I believe. So, as we see a few drivers now just starting to pit to get those fresh inters.
So Ryan Bell is a substitute for Vlad. So Vlad won't be in the hunt tonight. So looking forward to seeing what young Ryan can do. I'm not sure if this is his first race in the ARL, but hopefully we can get amongst it and see how he goes.
He's put a 1:19.6 on the board, so pretty good for him. You'll take that.
Sorry, mate. Bassink has just said that Ryan Bell is Fever. I'm not sure who Fever is. I've heard the name been thrown around. He's a multi-race winner here in the ARL. So young Ryan Bell, the kid who I thought was going to be cutting his teeth here and carving out a name for himself, is he's a Grand Prix winner. So looking forward to seeing how he impacts. Do you know much about him, Tim?
Feber used to dominate ARL. That's pretty much what it is. Before Zakov came around, Feber was the guy to beat. Feber's a very, very quick driver, so it'll be interesting to see if he can get himself up there and go from there. But yeah, Feber, from what I've heard, used to just absolutely dominate. So
awesome. Well, I'm glad to have him in. So welcome back to Feber. We love having you here, mate, and we look forward to seeing what he can do on the circuit tonight. So Zakov's time's still untouched, quite relatively untouched. So as we see Apex, he's going to dive into the pits. So we've got a few out on out laps and a couple on hot laps. But this is sort of the middle section of qualifying where drivers are probably just going back in the pits now to get on their last set of inters, if that's what they're doing. Change, get a fresh set and come out and try and set a quicker lap. The Monaco circuit, it looks like it still seems to be raining quite heavily. Now, I'm not sure how far this carries over into the race. If there's any engineers that can give us some sort of indication of how the race is going to look. But yeah, we've also got Mark Rutt in the chat. Hello, Mark. Welcome in. So yeah, looking forward to these last 6 minutes of qualifying here in the Elite Division.
Yeah, it might also be a wet race. Windows has heard. So a few guys on here we'll say hello to. So Streamboy20, how you doing, mate? Aris53YT, he had a question about the intro. The intro is a combination of HK and Bassing. So HK's done the first part and the last part, but the really short, sharp, shiny, in-your-face graphics, that is, it says by Bassing in it. He's also a guy that's done that. Who else is there? Skipper, Snoop. Voice is godly.
I did pay him to say that.
You take that way. You absolutely take that.
No, we love Skip. He had a really good race on Monday, so shout out to Skipper. He's really improving, Skip, in the Academy division. He's going to be looking to be moving up soon as well. He's absolutely put in the work. So shout out to my man Skip. And we've got a few other guys in the chat that are ARL locals. We've got LJ in there, Darkly as well. So hello to all the ARL locals. But we've got 5 minutes to go here, Tins. We've got Aziko on a lap here. So everybody now, this is going to be crucial as well. A lot of traffic out on the track in a minute, where everyone will come out to try and set another faster lap. So it's about to get into the crunch time.
That is it. So we will probably see a few guys just starting to warm their tyres up a little bit, and then we will see a few godly laps. You might see a few mistakes coming up sooner rather than later. I think most of the guys, or most of the drivers, should I say, are just... They've got used to the track, they've got used to the conditions, they're acclimatised now, they're right and ready to go, but they're going to be pushing a bit harder now. They know what's in front of them, they know what they have to beat, they know the times that they want to target now, so you're going to see them push a little bit harder, and hopefully when they push a little bit harder, I don't hopefully mean we see some mistakes, but you are going to see a few, because the drivers are going to be pushing and trying to get the most out of their cars. So hopefully we can catch it on stream if we are lucky enough, but you never know.
Yep. Now, Aziko just improved by 5:10, so that's a handy lap for him. That'll push him up into 5th position for the meanwhile, while we close out this session with 3 minutes to go, 3.5 minutes to go. We got Apex, who's going to have to go out and do a lap if he wants to get back in the top 5. Gers as well, Tazza. Then we have our man Feber, Ryan Bell, Zay, Eckham, SGN. So there's a few guys out there that are quick. Farmer Sam, he'll be wanting to do another lap as well. He's on an out lap. As we see, Lemon... we'll see what he goes in Sector 2 as he comes around Turn 9 into the tunnel, then down into Casino. So, yeah, there's a few guys that'll be looking to improve here, and they'll just want to notch themselves up. Every position on the starting grid counts. Also, we got to talk about as well, Tins, is getting a start in the wet's not the easiest as well. So, the higher up in the grid, the sort of easier you make it yourself. And I'm hoping all these guys, which they normally do, be able to keep it clean up into Turn 1 in the wet. But we'll have to see how that goes. As Lemon there gets a little bit untidy coming out of turns 18 and 19 back onto the main straight at the Novell chicane. So it'll still put him just outside the top 10, but he might still have enough time to go around again. But yeah, not the tightest of laps that you'd want to be your final lap here in Monaco.
Well, that's it, but they're all setting themselves up now, so you expect them to be probably harvesting a little bit of battery, or they'll be in full send mode. There's not too much rubber that's going to be laid in the wet, so these guys are going to be pushing, as you can see, a little bit snappy there.
So Zach Gold is currently 3/10 up on his time, and I was hoping that he'd be able to get in the 117s, and depending how he goes here at the Novell and back onto the straight, we'll see what happens. But he's going to come out now after turn 19 onto the main straight. Can he get into the 117s?
Not quite.
Oh, and he's not quite there. nearly 1.5 tenths off there, but still a great improvement from Zakov. He's really showing his prowess here in the wet. We see Apex on a lap as well. He's going to want to get up there. Apex is normally one of our sort of higher qualifiers. He likes to sit around the top 3. So let's have a look at his time here. As he comes around, he gets a little bit squirrely, so that's not going to help with his time. He tried to put the throttle down a little bit too early there and got sideways, but still up on his time. So let's see how he goes here in the Novel chicane. The rear end seems a little bit happy on this Ferrari, so I'm interested to see what the setups that the guys are running as well, with the information they had coming in to the session. So we're going to see Apex, and yeah, he puts himself into the top 3, being 5 tenths up on his time. So that's a great lap to get him up there. Zico now, he's coming through sector 2. We got Dutchy, who's also coming through the second sector. We've got a few yellow flags around, but I think that's just other drivers letting them by. So FIBA, I'm interested to see if he can improve on that 119.16 and Dutchy on the 119.09. So Zakov, again, he's gone quicker one more time, only by a few hundredths of a tenth. But as we see, Apex has gone into the runoff. Zico now, he will be looking to get this position on Apex. He goes
absolutely sideways through there. He's done a full Danny Rick and is just absolutely sending it. That is going to be quick. Is he going to be held up here? He's got a Williams in front who has gotten a little bit of wriggle on. This will be a good time here, I reckon.
Yeah, and a small toe down the straight, which will help as well. So a 118, and he goes a 119.101. So he's cracked himself into the top 5 and pushes Dutchy out.
Dutchy's lost the front wing.
So Dutchy's lost the front wing, and he gets super sideways coming into the pit lane. So only qualifying's now done. Only a few people left on laps. We've got Crush, who will be... he doesn't need to do too much here. I'm not sure if Apex would have gone back out to get another lap in, depending where he is on the track. So, and he's just DNF'd out of the session. So Crush looks to be fairly safe from any relegation at the grid so far.
Just looking to see, FIBA's up on his lap currently. He has actually stopped that, so he's not going anywhere. I'll check in with Spliff is 3 tenths up. You have to remember that this is like 3 tenths is massive. He can put himself 4th or even 3rd on the grid here. There is absolutely no time between 11th and 3rd on the grid.
So let's see how he goes here.
I think that's about it. I think we're done.
So
that's how we stand is how we stand. So it's really, really good to see. Obviously, Zakov with a 7 tenths a lap quicker. Crush pretty quick as well. Apex a 10.5 behind him. But then if you look between Apex, between 3rd and between 11th at Tazza, there's only 5 tenths between 8 or 9 positions in the grid, like in qualifying. That is absolutely phenomenal. Again, we see this, we get closer and closer and closer as everyone just keeps going. But you can see 0.8, 0.9, 0.9, 0.1, like 1.1, 1.1, 1.2, 1.2, 1.2. From 3rd to 11th, there's absolutely, even from 2nd, there's almost nothing in it.
Yeah, besides that absolute scorching time that Zakov sent, there is a massive gap in the between 1st and 2nd. But everybody else, it almost looks like a gap from the leader. It's that big. But yeah, those 7 tenths, 8 tenths, 9 tenths, it's so close. So this is how it stands. We got Zakov, Crush, Apex, and everything just went away from me. But we will be back right in a second, and we will give you the grid order for the race. That's it. No, that's it.
All right, so we are back. We're just waiting to go. Our order as it stands at the moment is Zakov in 1, Crush in P2. Some much needed points for Aston Martin in this elite division. They're bottom at the moment, which, as an Aston Martin driver myself, it's not the nicest feeling, but Crush put himself P2, Apex P3, I think Zico was P4, Dutchy 5, Feber 6. I think that's as much as I can remember off the top of my head. Yeah, hopefully I'm right with that. I think the 6, lock the 6 in, I think. But after that, I couldn't be quite sure. But I'm excited to go into turn 1. So we will wait for the lights. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. And we're off. So the race has started and it is dry. We've gone straight into it. So a clean getaway from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll go a bit back in the pack. There's 2 wide through the whole way, but looks like people have gotten away pretty cleanly. A great start from Zakov though. Crush has stayed up there. Dutchy stayed up. There's a lot of people starting on mediums and a few starting on hard. So we have had that dry race. We've seen, is that Feber that's gone off in the runoff area? So I think he's actually T-boned the exit, so he's locked up. We can see there's a Kebab running over the inside curb, trying to go up the inside of someone there. He's going to get a 3-second time penalty, but it looks like Fever T-boned, might have locked up going into the going down into the chicane area, and he's locked up and T-boned the side of the wall. But other than that, a pretty clean getaway.
Yep, a clean getaway. Unfortunately for Phoebe there, like you just said, wasn't able to make it stick coming down that downhill section, but everything's redressing quite nicely here. Now, Zakov has got out of that crucial DRS range straight away, and it's going to be a bit of a battle here, I'd imagine, between the top 10, really, as we see Lemon gets a 3-second time penalty, but there's a lot going on. Gers is the only one inside the top 10 on the hard, so he'll be hoping for a mid to late safety car that'll be able to set him go on the mediums for free. But everybody else, there's not really many hard runners that are up there. We see SGN, ABK, Fluxy, Mez, and Farmer Sam, who are on the hards. As we see Ryan Bell, he's gone into the pit. Zay and Feber, they've all gone in the pit lane. So Feber's gone onto the softs, and we see Farmer Sam and Zay off to the hard and the medium tyres. So Gers here, now he is our championship leader in P8, so he does have quite a big lead, but I'm sure he wouldn't be happy sitting here back in P8 at the moment. So we'll see the moves he wants to make in the race. Zico lost the position at the start of the race, and now looking to move his way up. He's right on the back of Dutchy here, and so is Sneaky on the back of Zico. So a lot going on early on here. There's a few spot fires all over the track, but so far it looks to be that Dutchy is leading the pack here.
Yeah, so we got away pretty cleanly. I said we had a few little incidents. Gers is struggling a little bit on those hard tyres. We have Tazza making up 4 spots. He's now in P7. Kebab, SGN, ABK, Fluxy have all made up a few. Mez has made up a few as well. Unfortunately, our biggest losers. Lemon's got some damage. He's pitted. Zay's gone back 5. Obviously, Feber's gone down 12, and same with Farmer Sam. But our biggest winners at the moment, Taz has made him up into P7. So it looks like most of the... it's Dutchy holding up most of the runners here, with causing a little bit of pushback, which is actually allowing Gers to kind of get himself a bit more into this race. But we look at the front. Zakov's 3 seconds ahead already. Crush is just dawdling on the line of whether or not he can get out of out of DRS range of Apex, but Apex is having a great little run in this last sector to make that up. So the top 3, they're kind of in a run of their own. Dutchy holding up the middle of the pack, and then there's a few kind of stragglers towards the end. So far, a clean getaway, a clean race start, and there's plenty more action where that came from.
Yeah, speaking of Dutchy here, we're seeing a Fernando Alonso type train building up here. There's about 6 cars in the run here to get this position. So there's a lot of fighting going on. As you can see, that train coming up the hill on the first turn there. So that is that's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. Now, obviously, there's not many overtaking opportunities, and that's why we see that this sort of behaviour happen on this track. As we see, DNF put it into the wall and DNF. Now, I was just about to mention he did make contact with the wall coming down the hill, and he's brake deep and he's ended his race. So this is Tazza gone, and this is not the season Tazza would want to be having. He's unfortunately been out of the points or not scoring too much lately, so we'll see how Cody's plays this. I don't think it'll be a safety car as it stands. It would have probably already come out by now, but Tazza, the bad form continues, Tins. Oh, and we do have a safety car by the looks.
Is that... We're seeing Gares, who's just retired. Has he come out and got squirrely and put it somewhere, or am I just...
So I wasn't aware of Gares then. I wasn't on his POV, but he somehow DNF'd somewhere in the track. So if anyone in the chat, Weary Boy said he's just tapped the wall in the exit, turned forward, then wing damage made him lock up. So
that was Tazza. Gares has come out of the bottom chicane. Can you just go and check in the chat to see if there's anything fishy going on, or have we lost 2 of our leaders? I know he came out of the bottom of the chicane section, I think. And I think he just got a little bit sideways and ended up in the wall. So Gares has left the session. I think we're all in tow. So yeah, both just dead. So we've lost our championship leader in Gares, and we've lost Tazza, our P2 from last season. That is that's bonkers. Considering we've had a wet qualifying and guys just a little bit out of position, but then to lose 2 of the favourites that could possibly win, it's absolutely crazy. Monaco doing Monaco things, and that is coming from... Monaco is Monaco-ing, as Wearaboy would say.
Yeah, look, I checked in the chat. As of this moment, it looks like both Gares and Tazza, they were self-inflicted mistakes. So the lobby will continue here, and it's a scarce safety car, as we've seen. Not many during the week. I think this is the second. I know we had one in our div in the novice division, but every other division hasn't had the luxury of getting one. So, yep, Zakov will lead the safety car out, and this is going to bring... so Apex is right behind Crush, as we've seen that battle brewing a little bit earlier. But Dutchy now is going to have the full wrath of literally everyone that was behind him, besides Tazza and Gares, obviously, but it's just going to bring everybody up. So as we see, Fluxy, he's moved up 8 positions, which is really good. ABK 10, and Mez, who's got up 11, so a couple of massive gainers. And then as we see, Fever, he's dropped 10, and Tiger, who's dropped 6, so a few gainers. Kebab as well, I need to mention, he's done 8, so yeah, everybody looking to when this safety car comes in, which it looks like it's going to be quite a while away, at least a couple more laps, as we've got drivers all over the track. Farmer Sam, who's only just coming on to the main straight via turn 19. So yeah, really crazy start of this race. I didn't think anything like this was going to happen. They look like they sort of got into their groove, as you do sort of heading into lap 10. You're able to get everything sorted and get into a rhythm, but maybe that wet qualifying was a little bit off-putting and a little bit too much trust in the dry tyres to put the foot down as and put the brake pedal down a lot later as well, as maybe caused a few issues.
Yeah, well, we'll just quickly go through the penalties and whatnot here. So Kebab and Lemon both have 3-second time penalties. On the tyres, a few guys have had to pit. Eckham's had to go on the fresh hards. Tigers had to go on the fresh hards. Feber, Farmer Sam have a few guys, obviously, with a few guys having to pit as well. So it looks like Farmer Sam might have actually pitted back onto his mediums after that early pit stop. So I think he's going back to his original strategy, start on the mediums and then finish on the hards. So yeah, a few guys just kind of setting themselves up for the rest of the race. top 9 hasn't changed. Zico did pit for those hards, but again, those hards aren't lasting the rest of the race. So he might be trying to push those hards out and then finish off on a set of softs with having 2 laps. Same with, I think Eckham is there as well. I just look for Eckham to hang in there. Eckham is on controller and he's probably having an absolute hand cramp of a time with this race just pushing itself out with a safety car.
I do want to mention though, one of our fearless leaders, Bassink, I think he did 31 laps on the hard compound tyre last night in the race. So, I mean, if was that Zico who pitted an Eckham as well, and Tigo, if they can save here, and depending on when the safety car comes in, I dare say it'll probably come in this lap, but they've had a couple laps under the safety car, which will help. So they may be able to stretch these tyres out, depending on what happens in the race and how hard they've got to go. But Bassing was in it all race, and he did a really good job on his tyres. He did an Alex Albon in Albert Park sort of job. He nearly went the whole race on them. So as we see, Zakov is going to get ready here to set this off, and we don't have Eckham here who reads him like a book, so we'll see this getaway tonight. As looks like it's pretty straight and simple. He gets it back out in the straight and puts the foot down. So Zakov gets away nicely as well, crushing Apex. There's quite a big gap between all the drivers, so Zakov chose the perfect time to get out, and but Apex right on the back of Crush here, which is going to put that added pressure on. We've got Dutchy, who's managed to get away well, is nice as well, and Sneaky and Spliff, they'll be right on the back of Dutchy as well. So both Hasses up into the top 5 and 6 positions here, which is great for them so far. As we don't see too many position changes on the safety car restart.
Yeah, just a quick little shout out. Hester VL's made it clear that Spliff is also on controller as well. So a little shout out to Spliff for also being on controller. I don't know how you can be on a controller and drive Monaco. Surely your hands are like absolutely just cramping by the end of this race.
Yeah, Spliff must have some shares in some pickle juice or something like that, or to stop the cramps. But doing a beautiful job so far in P6 there.
See, Gaz has come up with a joke. Yo, P19, that's a good result. So Gaz is in the chat having some fun. Bad luck, mate, but there's always next week.
He's done really well early in this season to sort of give himself a little bit of leeway, and he can sit back and sort of relax a little bit. His championship lead is looking pretty beautiful at the moment for him. So enjoy your night off, Gaz.
Yeah, I think Tiger just made a quick move there on Feber, so he gets around. Quite tight little move. We see about 3 groups at the moment. So we see Zakov, Crush, Apex at the front, followed by, I think it's Dutchy to Kebab. ABK is just hanging in the middle, and then you have everyone else from Mez down to Farmer Sam at the back. So we're going to have you in for some tight racing. So if you're paying attention, this is the time to be doing it.
Yeah, as you see, look at this coming through the tunnel. There's a lot of drivers that are re-winged the gearbox, so
tried to go up the inside. He's gonna lose out. So it looks like Eckham, I think he got that place back. So there was a little bit of a move that tried to go up the inside, just couldn't quite get it done. As we see, DRS is enabled for this lap.
Wow. A few guys getting sideways here into the pool section and coming out of it as well. So Zayd's going to lose a position here. He's going to drop down, and then he's going to have Fever on his inside, who's probably pretty good later on the brakes, I'd imagine. So he'd probably get this position up the inside. Doesn't think of it though. He thinks smarter of that as a race winner would. So he's just going to redress. But Zay, as we see SGN, he's gone around. And we'll have to see himself on the back of the pack. We got Crush, who's got Apex 5/10 behind him. So this battle's getting interesting now. We've got the battery level of Crush is about 50%. I'm not sure what Apex is sitting at, as this train behind Dutchy is starting to reform itself again. And behind the Kebab and ABK Mez as well. It's all going on here through the tunnel. So a few drivers now, again, have to get back into that groove after the safety car. As we've seen, Mez gets a 5-second time penalty for corner cutting. It's easy to get those penalties around here, and because it's so tight, if you give yourself those 3 or 5 second time penalties, they really do hinder your race. So these guys will be, especially Crush and Apex, when there's a battle on the line, you'll be wanting to keep it on track at all times and keep those warnings to a minimum, because once you get a 3 second, it really does take you out of the game unless the person ahead of you also gets one, which is still possible, but you want to be as crucial as you can on those track limit warnings.
Well, that's it. I also found out that Gers is on controller, and he's kind of glad that he crashed out of Monaco because his hands cramp after 15 minutes. Aris 53 YT, Zakov with the alien pace. We've been out on track for about 2.5-3 laps, and he's already built a 4.5 second lead. So this man he literally is on one. He's on a whole nother level. When he's given room to drive and to lead, Zakov has really got pace at his thing. As we see, is that Farmer Sam's DNF'd. So it looks like he's gone around the chicane at the top of the hill and might have just put a bit more gas on than he would have liked, bit of a lead foot, and has crashed out. But we're not going to get a yellow flag. He's already been cleared from the track, so we'll continue on. But yes, Monaco has claimed yet another victim. So one less Ferrari driver to deal with, thank God.
He really doesn't like the prancing horse, Tins, as anyone that tunes in weekly would know.
It's just HK. It's just HK. Where is HK, by the way? I haven't seen him once in the chat. If this man's pulling doubles...
he's in there. He's in there. I have seen him. I have seen a few chats. He's engineering tonight now for one driver, which is Apex. Unfortunately for Farmer Sam, doesn't make the race distance, but he'll be coaching Apex 3 here, but give him a few words of wisdom. He's really good at coaching with the ARS, as he says
there he is. I just want to double check, because he's been fairly quiet. I know his race didn't go quite according to plan, so...
he's fully concerned about Apex right now. He takes his engineering very seriously. Even him getting in the chat right now, just he wants to make you happy, Tin. So
well, that's what it is. That's what ARL is all about, making Man and Tin happy. So that's what it should be about. That's what it is about. So we see Kebab getting right on the gearbox here of Spliff on controller. So maybe those hands are starting to cramp. They're both going to have DRS. Is he going to have enough space? No. So that move's not quite going to get done. I think Mez and I believe that's Eckham. They're getting tied up, so Eckham's going to try and go around the outside. They're going too wide. There's touching. Oh, there's more rubbing. So that's a slight touch between Mez and Eckham, which then proceeds to get Eckham and Fieber. They've also been touching, and they're still going like side by side. So is one going to yield? Yes. Fieber has got in front. I believe there's a little touch from Eckham, but no harm, no foul. So, as we see, I think that's Mez. It's getting a little bit sideways. So look for Fieber to be absolutely pouncing on this on the way out.
Yeah, Fieber, as I said earlier, he is multiple ARL Grand Prix winner, so he's shown his experience here. He spun early in the race, and he was still quite deep up. The safety cars. Who's that? That's gone around? Zico. He's DNF. Somebody as well. He qualified really well, and now another McLaren. So we have no McLarens left in this lobby as Zico spins coming down the hill, and it is quite an easy place to get the rear end out as well. So unfortunately, another victim has been claimed here at the Principality. Nelson PK described this track as like riding a bicycle around your living room, and it's proving to be so, as a few drivers getting too close to the walls. So that's 4 drivers now out of the session. As we see Lemon with another 3-second time penalty. So Apex now, he looked like he was really pressuring Crush. Is this HK in his ear saying, mate, we don't need to go early hard, we'll let him run it out? Or is Apex starting to fall off a little bit here?
I think Apex is just, he might have made a mistake or two, but I think he's pretty much just going to sit there. He might be saving up some ERS. I think he is I think he's a fair bit quicker in the last sector, so it looks like Mez is getting away from him in the middle sector, and then Apex is really making that in the last sector, as we see. Crush. Sorry, my bad. Crush looks like that he's being followed up quite hard in the last sector. So I think that's going to be a nice little battle just to hang on to. But yeah, another one bites the dust, as they would say. And no, I'm not singing at HK, so get out of it.
A little bit of action here in the ARL Elite Division so far. If you've just tuned in, we've had a few DNS, as you can see so far, 4 out of the game. Unable to go the full race distance. We've seen a safety car, which is very, very rare at the Principality, as we'll see Kebab come down in the hotel section there. Really, this is sort of the midpoint of the race here. Everyone's settled in. Now, we still have Apex on the back of Crush, and Sneaky and Spliff, the two Hasses at 5th and 6th, getting a great points haul as it stands for their team. We've got ABK, who's coming through, who's sort of in a middle ground there. And then Ekem, who was up and about last week at Abu Dhabi and unfortunately seen the rear end go around. He's just inside the points, but his teammate Tigger is right on the back of him as well, so maybe some team orders to come. If somebody's got some better pace, we'll see that in the coming laps. And then we've got FIBA, who was in the top 10 before. Did I miss something?
I think FIBA went round in the back sector, so unfortunately for him, he went around and lost a few little places there. So this is going to be tight. We've got the Haas coming out of the pits, and I believe that's Kebab coming on the back as well. So hopefully Kebab can just jump on the end here and try and warm those tyres up. But Spliff's pitted, and he's come out at the front of this group, so I'd be looking at Mez to be putting a lot of pressure here on Spliff and giving him the hurry up.
Yep, it's lap 16 on the to go onto the hards. So yeah, those mediums would have been really sort of getting to the end of their life now. They can be stretched out with great difficulty, but you probably want to sacrifice that to stay on track. As we see, Mez, he goes straight through that chicane. And we know in the FIA briefing that it did say going straight through the chicane, you needed to stop. So that'll be investigated by the FIA, I'm sure. The drivers behind will want to know what's going on there. But as we see Spliff now, he is sort of keeping this gap to Mez. It's currently out of second, so he's keeping them out of DRS range, but he is also on those fresh tyres as well. So he's done well there on an out lap to get those hard tyres warmed up, which is quite the task on this track.
Yeah, he's done pretty well, but he apparently he has a bit of wing damage. So a little bit of wing damage here. I know it's nowhere near as bad as the 2021 version. If you had any slight bit of wing damage in 2021, you were just completely out of it. So I raced for, I think, a good 6, 7, 8 laps or whatever until I got taken out on Tuesday night. With wing damage, it's not that bad, as we're going to watch. Crush has just gone in. So remember, we have had that safety car, so these tyres will be a little bit fresher. Can Apex put in a really, really staunch lap here to try and jump Crush, because he couldn't react with Crush going in straight away. So it's going to be up to Apex here. We'll stick with him as he tries to absolutely lay down all the rubber he has left on these tyres for this lap to try and jump Crush, who's going to end up in 4th. So if he doesn't get held up by ABK too much, we should be okay, but I don't know if he's going to be able to hold that position once he comes out on those fresh hards.
Yeah, so really crucial here for Apex now. Now, he hasn't used pretty much any battery. He's going to have a juice down the tunnel here in the straight section as he comes into 10 and 11. It's really crucial here. Now, if he can do a great time, he may be able to overcut here. So that's the play that they're looking for, I think. Now, he should pit this lap. Don't quote me on it, but I'm sure he's out here to put in a stonker over lap and try and get an overcut here while the other drivers are having to, as he goes around again. So maybe he's wanting to stretch these mediums out and have a bit more life in the hards at the end, but still, them going on the hards now, they are hard to warm up. So maybe he's just trying to take advantage of it for a couple laps, or I'm not sure of the strategy. I haven't seen too many people throughout the week trying to stretch the meds out past, 20, 21 laps. I did 21 laps on the hards with wing damage, but even at the end of that, they were quite, done after racing pretty hard for, 20, 21 laps at the start. So, it'll be interesting to see what they play here and how many laps it takes. As we see Sneaky, he's right on the back of Dutchy now, only 2/10 of the seat.
Oh, that is a massive crash. So that is, Eckham has gone up the inside of Mez. They've touched going up the hill, and that has gone smack bang into the wall. I think we'll try and join on with Fluxy here, which is going to go past the scene of the crime. But that is an absolute, that is a massive crash. And that's brought out a safety car straight away. So this is perfect for Apex.
Wow.
This is perfect.
So right as you switched that, Tims, that was honestly, you couldn't have captured that any better, mate. We've seen that massive contact up the turn one, and we've seen it there all week, haven't we? It's been quite a spot where drivers are getting a little bit desperate. They want to make that overtake. They want to get it done. And unfortunately, it's driver number 5 who's going to be out of this race. So Mez, as we see, SGN gets a drive-through for speeding under the virtual safety car. Is it a virtual or is it a full safety car?
No, there's a full safety car on track. I was just watching the Apex pit stop there. Didn't quite manage to get in front of Zakov, but again, that pit on the safety car, he was in the perfect position when that came out. He was just approaching the last 2 corners, so he's gone straight into the pits. He has jumped Crush. But wow, that was a big incident, and Eckham's probably going to be in a little bit of trouble there.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not this track is hard to overtake, and you do get desperate, but it's not the way you want to see an overtake done. So, like Tins did mention, we will definitely see an investigation of that incident, but we will leave that up to the FIA to discuss an outcome for that. As we see, so big gainers Apex, he really did not much has changed behind. As we see, Fever, he's cracked himself into the top 10, but ABK and Fluxy are big gainers. They've both got 11 positions, so well done to those guys. But everyone else is sort of from their grid positions. Not much has changed a whole deal. There's maybe a couple that have pinched 4 or 5 through the DNFs. But SGN's got a drive through. Lemon's got a 6-second time penalty. Kebab with a 3-second, and also Fluxy. So those guys will live with those penalties. So SGN will have to get that drive through done. But yeah, so that's what the penalties are as it stands here on lap 21. So as we go through here, the race is it's going in funny little stages. We have a little section there where it seems to be nice and chill, everything's sort of cruising, and then all of a sudden we have an incident like this, and this is the first time this week we've seen more than one safety car, 2 safety cars. So the race is getting interesting. And then Fever's gone under the safety car. He's put it in the wall at turn 4. So I don't know what happened there. Maybe trying to get too much temperature in the tyres. But that is a multiple Grand Prix winner and ex-ARL dominator, Fever, who's put it in the wall.
Yeah, another one bites the dust. That is so. Just so you know, Q1's gone. We've now finished Q1. We've just started Q2. Apparently, in the new Q2, we're just chopping people left, right, and centre if they're not quick enough. So
yeah, it is.
We've lost 7 drivers. So we had a full grid. 7 drivers are gone. Maybe someone has to get up a bet to see how many more drivers we can lose. So I know there was only, I think, 8 drivers who completed Monaco in the novice section. I don't know how many completed in the academy or the prodigy division, but these boys might be pushing a record. So, and it just seems to be that, yes, there was 2 incidents. There's only been 1 incident with the Eckham and Mez incident there, but the rest of them have just been silly mistakes by drivers. So Tazza, Gares, Aziko, SGN somehow, I think he may have retired. FIBA as well. These guys have been pushing too hard and have made mistakes, and they've paid the ultimate price for taking on Monaco and, just pushing the limits.
Yeah, it's one of those things you have to ride a fine line. I was one of the ones that learned the hard way on Tuesday. Right at the end of the race too, I put it into the wall at turn 8. So it's one of those things you have to ride a line. You can never get too confident at Monaco either, I don't think. You have to respect it for the beast that it is. If you try and push the limits too far, it's what happens. So the safety car will be in this lap, but unfortunately for these drivers in our elite division tonight, it seems like the Monaco circuit has gotten the better of quite a few. Not many of them were really massive race incidents. They were sort of just like kind of random DNFs, as we've seen with Tazza and Gares. Farmer Sam as well, his wasn't caused by a thing, as Zakov gets away quick, and Apex is managing to hang on the back of him pretty well. Zakov still got away quite nicely, but he's going to sort of sail off into the distance. It's a bit of an Ayrton Senna-like performance from Zakov. Ayrton Senna was known to be one of the masters of Monaco, but with 6 Grand Prix wins there. So as we see Crush, he's on the back of Apex as well, and he's going to have to put in his best effort to get past young Apex. Dutchy, who's led the big pack all day, he's kept everyone behind him. He's going to have to try his hardest as well. There's a few guys, ABK, who's on a fresh set of mediums, who will want to be using the best of those tyres as he can early on before they sort of start to lose their tyre life at the end of this Grand Prix. So we're getting into the back end of it now. 23 laps gone out of 39. So they're all dressing up pretty nice to the section here. It's looking like they're going to be a few little spot fires on track where people are going to want to make passes, Tins.
Yeah, it's only going to get closer. We see Kebab here looking to have a crack. It's going to take the wider line on Fluxy here, but without DRS, he's going to have to juice pretty hard if he wants to get by. He is going to defend.
The outside is dangerous.
Yeah, again, it's not quite happening here at the moment, so a few of the drivers going to be backing up. Is that a Williams of Zay trying to go up the inside?
Looks like he's giving him room to do so. They get a bit of contact there, so a little bit of contact. Not sure if any damage. Didn't look hard enough for damage. But Zay, he is really pushing hard to get in front of this Red Bull of Kebab, and he's got a big pack behind him as well. So there's a lot of push and shove. Head to noses. Who's that dives on the inside? Sneaky.
Contact.
He wanted to get a couple, and that was pretty sneaky from him to try and go up there. So
and he's DNF'd. That is bang. I don't know if you caught the wind of that, but that was huge.
Yes. Massive carnage. So I don't think... who was the DNF?
I think
there wasn't a DNF, so there's been huge damage. There's front wings of a Haas all over that corner in turn 8. But Sneaky tried to get a little bit too sneaky and a little bit too cheeky. And as we see, Lemon just gets a little bit squirrely. So he manages to save it out of the wall, but He's probably got damage as well by the looks of it. I can't see. It's going so fast with this track, but Sneaky, he's going to have to box for damage, and that ultimately ends his race. This is too far in the end of the race unless the safety car comes out to bring him back in. As ABK, he's defending from Fluxy, and he's got a few cars behind him, so a lot happening in that downhill section of Sector 2 through the hotel hairpin down there. And, Tinge, you're doing well to capture these moments.
I think I've been pretty lucky so far. So I've managed to capture most of the severe incidents. But when I saw it, I thought it was a DNF. He went around this corner. There's a little bit of tapping, and he went directly into the wall. So when he went directly into the wall, as we see, is that Tiger that's just gotten past Zay? It is. So as he's going to come back at him here, so I'll interrupt myself, but no, the Alpines are trying to get past the Williams of Zay here. But yeah, it just looked like he hit him along coming into that corner. He locked up a little bit and went straight in, and I thought I saw a wheel. Turns out it was just a whole front wing disappearing.
No, it was absolute carnage. It was hard to see much.
Look how close he's again.
Right on the back of Zay. It's now everyone early in this race, they were being quite reserved and sitting on the back. As soon as these last final safety cars have come in, everyone's got fresh tyres. Everyone's looking very racy energy, on for young and old. And you see ABK now having to defend from Flixie and Kebab, and this is going to get tight coming into this section as well. Kebab, he's sniffing right at the back of that Mercedes power unit. He can smell the exhaust fumes coming off, but they all redress pretty nicely. ABK now, he's going to be looking to defend the apex of this corner, as these guys seems to be people's one of the passing points, which is crazy because it is the slowest corner in the whole F1 calendar. So a lot of guys like to have a dive up on the inside, as ABK seems to get a pretty good exit coming in. He's got tunnel vision coming into the next section. Kebab and Flixie now jostling for positions. Will Kebab have a look down the inside? He just puts his car out there to have a look, but doesn't think of it. Now Zay, he's got himself back into the fight, and he's got those two Alpines riding on the back of him as well. So there's a big spot fire here in the middle of the track. It's ultimately a big jostle for sixth position with Flixie, Kebab, Zay, Tiger, and Ekam all fighting here. So there's points on the line here, because Ekam's outside of the back of Tigger, which is the final points position. So look at that. There's a long train coming down this, and there's going to be a lot of jostling.
Oh, is he going to go? No, he had a little look, and it's probably going to cost him the position. As we see, is that Tiger's going to go, looks like he's going to go around the outside.
Oh, wow. So there's going to be contact here, I'm sure of it. These guys are not in that dressing room, but they do a really great job of offering that respect up. As we see, Tiger goes down the inside. He's got that possession, and he gets back in front and cuts him off. So Zay now, Tiger got in front. Now he's going to keep Ekam behind to save this final points position. As we see these guys coming back here. So wow, really tight racing. And Zay doing everything he can. He's in Alpine sandwich at the moment, or should I say an Alpine baguette from the French team. But he's doing a lot here, and he's going to have to do even more to keep Ekam off the back from passing him.
Yeah, Zay's just struggling a little bit, but the Alpines, they're not really working together, but they're pushing. As he looks like he's going to try and take the wide line, but it looks like at the moment that Fluxy and ABK, Fluxy got past eventually, but ABK, the pace it's not the fastest in this little group. So while they're not being able to push away and get open track like Zakov, Apex, Crush, Dutchy and Spliff, that these guys are out in open track and they're just going as hard as they can. These guys are all tied up because they're tripping over each other, they're slowing each other down, which just means that they're keeping up with each other, and they really are just starting to tangle themselves up. And this is, again, it makes for good racing and good vision if you're coming from, as Fluxy's gone around. That is...
Oh, no. Fluxy, after all that hard work, he's put himself around and he's outside of the points now. So a disappointing spin for Fluxy. I know he'll be seriously upset with himself after that. And it looks like yeah, that Mercedes was really looking very racy, might I add as well. So ABK now, he's got the full wrath of the Red Bull up him as we see coming into this section. ABK likes to take a tight line on the apex as well, as we see Kebab just squeezes in. Now he's going to put his foot down. DRS open, battery on full throttle, so he's going to get the job done. But there's a lot of cars coming into turn one. What's going to happen here? Looks like everyone keeps it fairly clean. So a lot happening, a lot of jostling, a lot of moving around our positions as we see ABK now. He's got to defend from Zay. And I'm not sure how this is going to go. There's so much carnage going on here as we see a little bit of contact. But there's so many cars here and it's so tight. At any given moment, this could all go up in flames.
Yeah, well, ABK made the smallest of mistakes there. He decided to go defensive, really defensive, coming into the second last corner. Took the inside line. Kebab called his bluff, took the outside line, managed to get up the inside of him before the last corner, and that opened the door. And not only did it open the door for himself, but it opened the door for Tiger to go past as well. So in the space of one straight, ABK's gone down 2 positions. He's gone from 6 to 8. So that's a massive points cut. And again, it just shows that one small mistake in this league, and you can, in this division, and you can be paying the price. But as much as I say that, they are respecting each other's space. There could have easily been nothing left there. No, I'm not going to turn. I'm not going to do this. But he's going, nah. Like, if he's going to be better than me, he's just going to let him go. He's going to try and fight hard, but he's just done the right thing. And even though it's cost him 2 positions, he's still in the race, and that's what racecraft's all about, and that's what we all come to enjoy. So great effort by all these racers in the midfield here.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, now we always expect DNFs here at Monaco. But these drivers today, and just in general as well, it's not just this track. It's not, just this season. This elite division has a really good record of drivers respecting each other, so far that I've seen anyway, in my time here in the ARL, and that's why I love commentating this division. We see a lot of respect, a lot of great racing. We do have the moments, but that's also sim racing as well. You get these big moments, you get these big crashes, but so far, a round of applause to our drivers here, because they have done a really good job. As we see somebody's gone around in sector 3 or had a moment.
ABK.
Looks like a brilliant ABK. So, and he's going to have to box as well, or maybe he was spun into that position and couldn't get back on and has forced himself to pit. So it looks like he will still retain that points position, as Lemon is 30 seconds behind, depending if he gets a front wing change. I think it's about anywhere between 22 to 30 seconds with wing damage. So as we see Crush, he's sporting that Sebastian Vettel helmet in this Aston Martin, as we had Seb's last race last weekend just gone at Abu Dhabi. So Danke Seb, Danke. One of the legends is bowed out. So that's a nice little touch from Crush there to run the German's helmet.
Yeah, it is quite nice, but I've been watching this battle a little closely as it's been going along, and just when you think Crush is in the fight to perhaps get DRS on Apex, again, Crush catches him up in this second sector, and then Apex just pulls away in that third sector, and that's pulling him out of DRS every single time. So as much as Crush probably deserves to be in that DRS to try and fight for this position, as long as Apex can keep this up, as you see, it comes back down. He's just lost 0.4 of a second through that, and it pulls Crush right back into the fight. But if you watch in this last sector, Apex just pulls away, and all of a sudden he loses all that time that he just gained. So pretty good entry there. He's going to make up a little bit of time, but he gets squirrely. But as we go through here, Apex just somehow manages to pull time out, and that's going to keep him safe. But maybe not this time, as I think I've spoken a little too soon.
No, he's pushed it out. Oh, he's got it.
Yeah, he's got it. So this is going to get really, really interesting. But yeah, so far the trend that I've seen is that Apex finishes that third sector really, really well, so it actually pulls him away. And it looks like both the drivers here have the exact same ERS. Just checking in with our leader, he's 11 seconds up the road, just for anyone that wants to know. I know it's hard being the Max Verstappen of our league, but this is what happens when you dominate from start to finish. You don't get any TV time, so Sakov, we love you, but sorry, we've got other things to worry about with all this fighting going on. So keep up the good work, and we'll see you after the race. But we've got a few little spot fires, as you've been saying. Kebab and Tiger are fighting really, really hard. Apex and Crush, they're in a little tanglement. It looks like Zay's pulled away a little bit from the Ekem. Sorry, Zay and Ekem are right behind each other. I was wondering where that last Haas was, but that Haas is sneaky all the way at the back, so he's not really in the fight as per se.
Yeah, so we're coming towards the end of this Grand Prix. We're at 34 laps. Now, I know for a fact that 35 laps is exactly 89.74% of the race distance, as we're about to come around. So for anyone who really cared about that, we're about to see the guys complete 89.74% of the Monaco Grand Prix. So these guys now are in a bit of a crucial position here, these two, of who's going to take P6 here. They've been battling quite hard for a fair bit of the race. We see Spliff, he's moved up into fifth position, and as we mentioned earlier, on a controller, so excellent job from him. So Sneaky, he was running P6 for quite a while. Him and Spliff were looking pretty good there in the Hasses, and they were going to get a double points haul. But unfortunately, with that incident, he was lucky not to DNF from the race and managed to just tack the new front wing onto that Hass and get back out on track. But unfortunately, he's outside of the points now. So D-Bowl69 has said, send it. So I'm sure that's what the rest of these guys will do leading up to the final laps of these Grand Prix.
Yeah, so not to send a warning out to the Ferrari camp, but Crush is actually starting to really put on the pressure behind Apex here. So Apex has got 2-lap fresher hards, but just seems to be just lost his way in these last couple of laps, and Crush has found that next gear. So as Crush continues to just push and push and push, this is the closest we've seen him. So he is really putting pressure on, and you can see Apex is just starting to slip away here. So maybe there's some cracks showing with only 4 laps to go in this Grand Prix. Yeah, will Apex be able to hold on, or will Crush take that spot back after I would say somewhat lucky safety car that allowed Apex to get in front? So I was quite looking forward to seeing if he could stay or gain any position with that extra couple of laps on that medium strategy, but with that safety car it did allow Apex to get past, but didn't really get to see whether or not it'd come out. So this is the closest he's been, so I'm really tempting. I think he's going to have a shot here. I think he's going to get that run. Obviously he's going to have DRS. He hasn't really got any ERS to use here, so it might be just a matter of him trying to save up and pushing up and back. As we see, I think Fluxy just pulls over for the rest of the battle. So
it's crucial here, really, this track to make a pass here, because unless you're going to have something insane, like it looks like he wants to have a little bit of a sniff at right now, you've got to, that final exit on turn 19 onto the pit straight is crucial on making a pass at this track. Unless you are going to risk it for the biscuit, yeah, it makes it seriously hard to make a position here. So Apex here is going to have to be careful, because he's brought Crush in sniffing distance of being able to make a pass around a few corners at this track. If you within sort of 3 to 2 tenths, you can get the job done in a few different areas. So Apex looking to just get good exits on his corners, Brake a little bit early if need be on the shoddy tyres, but get those exits. That's crucial here. So we're going into lap 38 as we come into the final sector here. Can Crush reel in the Ferrari? He's looked good all race, Apex, and now he's just starting to slip a little bit. He has kept him in front and got exits on this corner, which has helped him out. But Crush has looked absolutely brutal the last 4 laps and that reeling him in. They did look like he was drifting off, but now he's just turned on the burners.
Yeah, I think Crush has finally found his rhythm, so he might even have a look up the inside here. No, he's not quite. I'd be looking probably really, really close when it comes to this chicane, whether he can get enough traction.
Time in there.
So again, this is where he makes up all his time. He's following Apex. He's quicker than Apex through this second sector, and it shows every single time he's on his heels. But it's the third sector that Apex has been really strong at all race. So can the young Apex, can he hold his nerve here and keep Crush behind, or will Crush, the old veteran, as we'd say, who's been racing for quite some time, as we've seen, Lemon has been DNF, so he's come out and hit the wall. It doesn't look like we're going to have any interference from him, but can the wily veteran get Apex here, or is the young buck of Apex hold his nerve and keep that position?
So 1 lap to go. It's going to be interesting. Apex has looked like he's had the measure of Crush this entire race, but Crush says no. Oh, sorry, we've got 1 lap to go. Sorry. My apologies.
Here we go. Oh, I thought that was going to be the move. The
camera angle is dangerous. It looked like he was absolutely full send Australia Post.
Here it is.
But now he's going to get this position here. This is really good. This is what we're talking about, the respect from the drivers. They don't take the unnecessary risks and risk taking each other out. And this is some serious respect from Crush. He really is racing like a true driver here. He's showing so much respect, so credit to him. So now his plan of attack will be to G up Apex for this last lap. He's been putting the pressure on, and Apex will know now. HK will be in his ear saying, 1 more to go, mate, you can do this. But as the driver would know, it's one mistake away from letting this pass happen. So the pressure's all on Apex. I feel Crush is just going to sit behind and keep this distance as he's done for the last 6 laps. As we go into the last lap finally now, Zakov, he is almost going to be half a lap in front of these guys. He's way up ahead in the stream, but that's not what we're worried about here. Can Crush get the job done on Apex?
So Apex is absolutely completely out of juice. Crush has got a little bit of juice up his sleeve now. He's got about 15 or so percent. So you'll see him use that sooner rather than later. But this is where he can go. Can he perhaps put it on here, try and get up the inside? The last ditch attempt, not quite.
I think this is going to be a last corner drag race. He's saving this ERS up.
Oh, is it touching there?
There's a little bit of contact. As I think this 22% will give him that juice that he needs out of that final corner if Apex doesn't get a perfect exit. Now, we might see a little bit of juicing in the straight as we do, but I don't think it's going to be enough. I would have saved that to go down the back exit because I don't think there's going to be a pass done here. He's just used 15% of his battery, and now he's going to bring himself to be within the same battery level as Apex. So Crush may be using his battery a little bit irresponsibly there as he hasn't gained any time, and it looks like this is going to be a drag race. If anything, there's going to be no passes. He goes for a dive. He's going to have to relinquish his position for that, and I think that's what he will do. So it looks like Apex will get the P2 and that podium as we see them both cross the line. So that's our top 3, the podium position. Zakov in P1, a dominant race for him and a much needed points for that championship flight. He's going to relinquish those 25 points plus the fastest lap, which I'm pretty sure he did get. So 26 for Zakov. Apex, after last week, he'll be happy to get back on the podium. And Crush, even though a little bit of contact there, a really, really nice race from him. And they put on a great show here for the Thursday viewers. So that rounds out our top 10 in the points as we see Sneaky and Flukesy. Unfortunately, he was running a magnificent race. He's going to be out of the points. So unfortunately, but that is the race done. and that's another week of the ARL Elite Division. And we've just completed a race here at the Principality with a lot of casualties, but it's Zakov who takes P1 and puts himself back on the winners list for the Elite Division.
Yeah, a great race from there. We saw a last little ditched attempt effort from Crush to perhaps try and get around the Ferrari of Apex there, but a little bit of tapping, but realised, I'm probably in the wrong there. So let him have the spot, let him finish the race. But an interesting race. We only had, I think, 12 or 13 drivers that actually ended up finishing, but this has been as dominant as you could be from start to finish. Zakov he got the pole. There was calls for it in the comments right at the start of the race. I'll just try and figure out who it was.
So really, this will be good for Zakov for his momentum to pick up a little bit of that coming in to our races at Baku next week. This will really pump up the confidence for him. I'm sure he has plenty of it, but just to get his feet wet again and get another P1, it's exactly what he needed.
Yeah, so it was Werribee at the start said Zakov already won the race from qualifying. So Zakov, Apex, Crush, Dutchy, Spliff, Tiger, Zay, Kebab, Ekam, ABK, Sneaky, Flukesy, and Lemon are the guys that actually did finish the race. Quickly just go into the race director for a few of the guys that might need this a little later on, and we have a lot of incidents that we may or may not get to see. But yeah, we'll be right back after this short little break. All right, we are back for said interviews. I think we grab the race winner. Where is Sir Zakov with the qualifying win and the win on track? Is he around?
Seems. Oh, here we go. We've got an unmuted mic. Zakov, how was it, mate? A dominant win.
Yep, that's where I belong. Thank you very much. Nah.
It was
good. Fun track. It's a fun track.
It was a pretty good performance from yourself in the wet. I think it was about 7/10 or something. You ended up clearing Crush by, so it was a pretty good way to start. You felt pretty confident in the wet, and it showed even more in the dry. So it seemed to me that every safety car reset within a lap or two, you were after half a lap to a full lap of Monaco, you seem to be well and truly out of DRS, so it was a great dominant performance from you. Any little moments or anything that you had that we may not have seen?
Yeah, I actually got front wing damage on the medium stint, and then I had to pit, and I also messed up my timing on the pit because it's so close.
Yep.
So yeah, that I got like an 8-second stop, and then the safety car came out for Apex. He got really lucky with that, and then I just like pushed my delta, and got in front of him. I was lucky.
Yeah, no, I was actually quite nervous to see whether or not you got out. It ended up being quite
it was
quite close to get out, but you seemed to get it fairly comfortably. But yeah, it wasn't really much screen time for yourself. We got a little bit of you in the wet with qualifying and whatnot, but when you dominate a race like that for so long, you ended up finishing like 20 or something seconds ahead in front of everyone else. So you didn't get a lot of screen time tonight, mate. It's like almost like a Max Verstappen in real life, so far in front that don't actually really get to see much of you. But a beautiful race from yourself, a great qualifying, and glad to be back in the points, I would say.
Yeah, thanks, boys. I mean, after Abu Dhabi, it feels good because I realistically should have had the win last time out because of my wheel disconnecting. But anyway, move past that and hopefully have a good rest of the season.
Yeah, that's it, mate. Well, congratulations, and hopefully no more wheel disconnections for you, mate.
Yeah, hopefully. Yep. I think I've sorted that out.
Yeah, awesome, mate. Well, it's good to hear, and glad to have you back on the podium, mate. It's still a good look for you, unfortunately.
Yep. Cheers, boys.
See you, mate.
See ya.
All right, so I think then we'll jump straight into Apex. I know he is probably dying to start this off. So, Snoop, can you get stuck into him?
Yeah, Apex, mate. I mean, we want to say you had a good race, but that safety car really helped you out. I'm kidding. No, you had a really good race. Great battle with Crush. How did you find that from your point of view, my friend?
Sweaty. Very sweaty. No, but I did get lucky with the safety car thanks to the great calls by HK Racing. Best engine, says. But yeah, I was gonna stay out long because I knew he would get held up by ABK. But then when I saw him let him pass, I was like, oh, maybe this might not have worked. And then that safety car came out, and I was just like straight in the hot shot. But then, I was suffering from wing damage early on after I lightly tapped the wallet to back, and then it kept getting worse and worse. And then on about lap 35, I think I actually clouded the barrier pretty hard and got a yellow wing. So that's why I was pretty struggling in the final laps. But yeah, huge hats off to Crush. Awesome drive from him, and yeah, it's always fun to have a really good battle with him. I got to see. Yeah.
Sorry, mate. And what was your game plan prior to the safety car? Because I thought you were going to go for the overcut, or I did see you use a little bit of juice, and I thought you were going to do the box the opposite. And then you kept going for a couple more laps, and then obviously the safety car come out. But what was the strategy? Were you guys just going to try to go long on the mediums and bring it back late in the race with a fresher set of hards, or were you hoping that you might get lucky with the safety car?
I didn't think, because of the last game, the safety cars rarely came out. That's why I was surprised to get 2 today. I was like, okay, that's quite surprising because safety cars rarely come out. So I wasn't actually depending on a safety car. I was more depending on just going long because I've still had major grip in those mediums, about 47%. So then I just kept going along. I felt comfortable on them. And then, that's when the safety car came out, which was my pit lap, which was good.
Yeah. Good stuff.
No, that was perfect timing. I did see you must have had a bit of a different setup because from what I could see in the race, it looked like Crush was pulling away from you or closing the gap when he was behind in that sector 2, and he was really closing that gap. But in that third sector, you were just gaining time and pulling away. And for quite some time there before you got that larger wing damage in the end of the race, you were just pulling yourself out of DRS every single time when it came to that third sector. Was that something that you worked on during the week, or you just felt like you had a bit of a better setup to finish the lap?
I feel like I haven't been really working on the last sector because the last sector is usually my demise. I'll either just get a track limit warning over the chicane or just lock up in the rask house. But yeah, I really felt comfortable today being late on the brakes. Also the chicane in the middle sector, I felt really comfortable at. Yeah, he could just, for some reason, I'd lose a lot of time with that hairpin, but then I would easily gain it back. But yeah, still really happy to get my best result pretty much ever in ARL of P2 in Elite. So just up from here now, I guess.
Yeah, one final question for you, Apex. Now, last week you were, on the brink of that first P1, and with Zako's form today, how do you feel about going into Baku? It's another street circuit, and what's your feelings like that? Is it a circuit? Do you reckon you can maybe get that illustrious ARL win, or are you going to have to put a lot of work in to be quick there? What's your feeling of Azerbaijan?
I haven't done many laps on this game because it hasn't been really a league racing / track I want to do. But no, since I've done it, since it got updated to the 2022, I don't really like it the most. So I don't think you'll be expecting a win out of me there if it's lucky. But nah, I'm hoping for other races like Austria. I love Austria and other tracks, but yeah, not fond of Baku one bit. So yeah.
No, that's absolutely perfect. So, again, mate, you keep improving. Really should have told Camp to maybe save it till next year because the way your results are going, you could be almost leading the way with the results you're going. So, again, keep it up, mate. Congratulations on P2. And I'm guessing the way we're going, we'll see you probably up here next week, if not pretty close to those podium positions. So, congratulations.
Thanks, boys. And you
well done, mate. Awesome. You too, buddy.
Love it.
All right, so we'll grab Crush, our third place getter here. Congratulations on the podium, first and foremost, Crush. a great lap from you in the wet, and then to follow it up with a very, very unlucky safety car to lose that position to Apex in the race. What can you say about it? Like, I know you seem to be just closing in those final stages, and you almost got the job done, but a pretty successful day from yourself, even with that unlucky safety car.
Yeah, it was a pretty good day. I mean, in qualifying, it was good to get P2, but obviously quite a distance off Zakov. He was in another league today. In the race, it was pretty good. Obviously, at Monaco, you can't really overtake, so it was good that I had that track position on Apex. I think it was a little bit quicker overall, but I managed to just hold him at that nice distance, and then obviously that safety car didn't do great for me. It kind of cost me, to be honest, but still good to come in P3. It's a good result.
Yeah, that last effort there in the Novell chicane, were you sort of was that sort of a last final little dive to give it your last crack, or were you sort of planning on? Because I did notice you used a lot of ERS coming out of the tunnel and then outside of the casino chicane. Were you originally planning on using that ERS there, or were you sort of going to use it on the final straight and just had that little hiccup, or what was your sort of feelings on that last lap?
Yeah, well, I could see in front of me that he had his light flashing the whole time, so I was like, I should just save off ERS and I can probably get him. But it was just so hard to save it, you know. Like you don't really gain ERS. Like it was kind of hard for me to gain it. And I thought my only shot would be into the chicane. After that, straight under the tunnel. But yeah, I just couldn't get it, to be honest. I think he hit the wall and he got wing damage at some point. I assume, because he was very slow at the end. But yeah, it's just hard to get past him. I couldn't do it. Little lunge at the end in the Rascas, whatever it's called. I don't know what the call's called, but I gave my best effort. Wasn't enough.
No, you still had an absolutely outstanding race, and just might I mention as well, the respect between you and Apex, the way you raced each other tonight, was it was seriously phenomenal. You guys put on a great show at the end there, and your stint, those final 10 laps from you were really impressive. Just the time that you were gaining on Apex, it was an unreal race. So even though you may have been robbed a little bit from the safety car, still plenty of positives to take away. I think you had an unreal race.
Thank you.
Congratulations, mate. Again, P3, get some points, much needed points for us at Aston Martin. I think we've had a pretty good week this week in the Aston Martin camp. So again, congratulations, mate, and hopefully we'll see you up here again soon.
Thanks, mate.
All right.
Yeah, that overall constructors will be looking a little bit better. A lot of good results from Aston Martin this week.
Yeah, so just give me 2 seconds. So we're just going into the points here now. So looking at the points, obviously we lost Gares. Vlad didn't race this week. Tazza was out. So the top three drivers in the drivers' standings all failed to score any points. So the big winner here, Zakov, getting 25 for the win. The fastest lap was taken off him in the last lap. I think it was by Sneaky, who was outside the 10. So he won't get any points, but doesn't allow anyone else to get any points. Kebab had a pretty good race. Apex is going to go up the ladder here. He had obviously P2, so he'll shoot up the ladder a little bit. Eckham scored a few. Tiger did. I think we lost to Zico. We lost Lemon. Lights didn't race. Farmer Sam was out. Zay ended up finishing in the points, but not quite that good. I believe that was SGN. Sorry, I'm just having a little bit of difficulty here. I'll let you drive through a little bit here. Sorry, mate. I'm just having a little bit of trouble.
That's all right. So a little bit of a recap of the race. We did have a lot of people early on. Tazza was one of them, and when we've seen him lock up coming into the first turn. So a few DNFs today that a few drivers will really be wanting to... they'll sort of be disappointed, I think. A lot of those drivers... that have some amazing pace, they couldn't get themselves in today. So we go into next week as well, coming into Baku, another street circuit. It's arguably just a longer version of Monaco with a big straight at the end of it and a couple big straights. So Azerbaijan's going to be another interesting jam-packed track with a fair bit of action throughout the week. And it starts with our academy division. They've been racing really well, and there's quite a championship battle going on there, I believe, as well. There's a couple of guys that are looking to get in as we see Mercy, Naps, and Zilla. They're all on. So Mercy 66, Naps 61, and Zilla 55 points, with Siphon on 54, and then our man Skipper rounding out the top 5 with 41 points. So for anyone that hasn't had a look into that division yet, I highly recommend. There's a lot to play for there. And then coming in after Azerbaijan, we have Canada, which is round 6. We have Silverstone round 7, Austria round 8, and then we head to our extra rounds, which is a first for the ARL, I believe. We're going 12 rounds this season, which will see us in China and Portugal for rounds 9 and 10. They come from the 2020 circuits, I believe. They might have been in 21, but they didn't race there in real life. But so China and Portugal added on to the end of the season there. And then the driver selected tracks, Spa in Belgium. And then we finish off at home with round 12, and I'm sure a few championship deciding races at Albert Park. And those races all span over to the last races in January. So we've still got a fair way to go. We're not even halfway through this season yet. We're only into round 4 tonight at Monaco, so there's a fair bit going on.
Yeah, no, there's quite a bit going on. So much to look forward to as we round out round 4 of the ARL Elite season here at Monaco. Just double checking with the drivers. So tonight, Vlad, both the Alfa Romeo, so Vlad and Cato both didn't drive. Also, someone else, but both Crush and Dutchy, who finished, I think it was third and fourth together, are both reserve drivers in the elite division. So you can see that the guys that are even backing it up in the reserve role are still very, very quick drivers. So it's great to see that the ARL is continuing to expand with talent and continuing to produce and create more and more high quality racing and overall performance from this division. So good to see. But that about rounds us up this week. So thank you very much for tuning in to round 4 of ARL, the Monaco round. We will see you next week for round 5 in Azerbaijan. I've been your host, Man of Tin, and Snooperloop. I'll let you finish off and sign us off here, mate.
Thanks, mate. Yep, another week of the ARL done and dusted. Another exciting race from the elite division. We have Zakov, our race winner, who's back on the top step of the podium, and he'll be looking to carry that form on to next week. I've had a great time today, and we'll see you next week, as I mentioned, Academy on Monday at Azerbaijan, so we'll see you there.
Yep, looking forward to it. See you around. Tune in Monday night for Azerbaijan in the Academy division. And again, signing off. Thank you very much.
See you guys.